going on? Jerome's Raw, Real Audio Rant again. If there's only some name for a podcast, that's only audio. But a lot of talk and scuttlebutt this week as the NFL owners are in Minneapolis, ironically, for the owners' meetings and potentially are going to vote on a drastic playoff change of potentially reseeding or giving home field advantage in the wild card round to the best records as opposed to division winners and reseeding after that and blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of a kerfuffle right now. But the main thing is, well, first off, even though, yes, the Vikings last year would have been the 3 seed as opposed to the 5 seed and hosted a playoff game under the proposed rules, proposed by the Lions, by the way, because they know that they're not winning the division anytime soon in the next couple decades. But I'm still against it, right? The division should mean something. Oh, but if you win your division, you make the playoffs. It's not enough. It's not enough, man. And all these division races, people talk about how, it'll make things more competitive down the stretch. No, what's most competitive is win your division, get rewarded. That's what it should come down to. Oh, but what about weak divisions? What about them? Everything is cyclical. Divisions that are great now won't be great in a couple years, and vice versa. Right, so it's really ridiculous. It's really reactionary to the anomaly of last year, but it is what it is. We've said our piece and go from there. But there is one change that the NFL playoffs should make. And it's one that will never happen, so we're just tilting at windmills. But the NFL should go back to 6 teams in the playoffs per conference as opposed to 7. Right? So they expanded to 7 teams in the 2020 season, and it just hasn't been good. So since expanding 5 seasons, 7 seeds are 1-9 in the wild card round. We won't talk about the team that allegedly beat the 2 seed. But the 2 seed was the Cowboys, so yeah. And the 9 losses in the wild card round by the 7 seeds are by an average of 13.6 points. So it's not even competitive football, right? And what it does is that, hey, playoffs should be a privilege. So why are we admitting teams to the playoffs that have next to 0 chance of winning? Well, it's because of TV, right? Super wild card weekend, 3 games on a day. Monday Night Football, wild card game. The NFL's never going away from it. So it just sort of is what it is. But it's exactly like the college football playoff. Like 4 was fine, right? And everyone was pissing them out. It's like, but what about the 5 seed? What about the 6 seed? Do better. Because as we saw last year as they expanded the college football playoff, there's so many teams that are quote-unquote worthy of getting into the playoff have 0 chance of winning. Like, we didn't get a competitive game until nearly the semifinals, right? And it's ridiculous. It's a waste of time, and all it is, it's not about rewarding the teams that have had good regular seasons and having them a chance to go after things in the playoffs. Playoffs, again, should be a privilege, right? And how many coaches are sort of saving their bacon? It's like, we made the playoffs as the 7 seed. Which is great. But, again, we're a few years away from a 32-team college football playoff. It basically is going to be March Madness. And we're also a few years away from a 12-team NFL playoff. I mean, they're already talking about expanding to 8, which is just ridiculous, man. But, the history of the playoffs. So, in 1978, they expanded to 5 teams, right? It had been 4 previously, but it would be the 1 seed, and then there was 1 wild card game between the 4 or 5 seeds. Right, and then eventually in 1990 they expanded to 6 teams. Top 2 teams get a bye, 2 wild cards, and go from there. Actually, no, 3 wild cards because there's 3 divisions per conference back then, right? And then they expanded to 7 in 2020, like we said. And even if you'd be like, well, there's more teams in the league now. The last team to be added was the Texans in 2002. All right, so for 18 years we had the 6 team per 16 team playoffs. Per conference, and it worked. It's back when our country was fantastic, right? But expanding to 7 seeds is just watering things down. It is. Plus, you could say that, well, if you have 2 buys instead of just 1, I mean, it waters down teams trying to get the 1 seed. Not necessarily, because if the NFL wants the better teams to have a better chance to be making the Final Four, 2 buys is the way to go. It makes them more valuable, and teams sell out versus, hey, you know what? We're just settling in with the 3-4 seed. We'll be fine. No, go out and get your bye because there's more of them. Plus, you're one home win away from your conference title game, and that's extremely valuable. So if the NFL wants more competitive final weeks, that's the way to do it. Versus, how many times have we seen last couple of years where it's been 7 teams, where teams are settled into 3 and 4. They're going to win their division. They're just like, all right. I mean, seeding doesn't really matter. We're in. We're basically just going to shut it down till the end. Same thing with wild card. Like, we're not going to win the division, but we're pretty comfortably in the wild card chase, 5, 6, 7 seed. Doesn't really matter. We'll just go from there. What if there's only 6 teams that make the playoffs? What if there's 2 byes, making them more valuable to pick up, right? Because you have a better chance of going out and getting it. That's what it needs, man. But, of course, that would cost the NFL 2 extra TV games, and just ridiculous. I don't know. Like, there's no perfect solution for anything, as always, but it did just seem like the 6-team playoff bracket per conference was fine. Like, it worked. And now you have this odd 7-seed team thing. Just like, what are you going to do next? Is it going to be 8 teams? Is it going to be 10 teams with 2 byes again? So 10 teams out of 16 make the playoffs? What kind of reward is that? It's just ridiculous. And I know, well, what if a team is injured early on and then gets hot at the end of the season and then they're super dangerous? Okay, that's fine. We haven't seen it yet. And yeah, 6 seeds have won Super Bowls before. The 07 Giants, 2010, some team that will not be named. I'm sure that there's other examples, but we haven't seen it from the 7 seed. They have been listless. They have ceased to be. But I don't know. Like, obviously, this, like I said, this is a fruitless exercise. This is tilting at windmills. We should go back to 4 teams in the playoffs. Only 1 wild card. Actually, no. That'd be back when there was 3 divisions. We need to go back to 3 divisions, by the way. I don't know how it worked math-wise, but we need the NFC Central back. We need the Buccaneers back in the division so they can win the division more recently than the Lions. Let's put them back in their place. Anyways, your thoughts are thoughts. The only playoff change that needs to be made is we need to go back to 6 seeds, 6 teams. We used to be a proper country. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.